This is Radio Nepal. I'm Dela Prasai with the news, the headlines first. Prime Minister Sherbadu Deuba claims there is no dispute in the current ruling coalition. Ballot papers for proportional representation electoral system transported to 60 districts so far. Digital payment is on the rise in Nepal with growing access to technology. And China's Communist Party endorses Xi Jinping's core position in the country's leadership. Now the news in detail. Prime Minister Sherbadu Deuba has claimed that there is no dispute in the current ruling alliance. Addressing a joint program of the cadres and leaders of Left Democratic Alliance in Biratnagar yesterday, Prime Minister Deuba said the ruling parties formed the Electoral Alliance for the Protection of Constitution, achieved with people's struggle and sacrifice. The Prime Minister mentioned the ruling alliance is for protecting and implementing the Constitution, which is inclusive. Prime Minister Deuba hoped that the same alliance would form the government after November 20 elections. On the occasion, CPN Marist Centre Chairman Pushpakamal Dahal Prachanda said, although election is a normal event, the election this time bears special significance. He also reminded that the alliance was formed in a special condition for the protection of the Constitution. Likewise, CPN Unified Socialist Chairman and former Prime Minister Madhav Kumar Nepal argued that the alliance was made to seize the leadership from a wrong person. Moreover, the senior leader of Nepali Congress, Ramchandra Paudel, also reminded that the alliance was made for the protection of the Constitution and democratic system. As part of Tihar festival, Kak Tihar is being celebrated today as the first day of the 5-day-long festival. The day is observed by offering food to the crow. The crow is regarded as the messenger of Yamaraj, the Hindu god of death and justice. Professor Sri Krishna Adhikari, chairperson of the Nepal Calendar Determination Committee, told that Kak Tihar should be celebrated on the day of Trayodasi in the morning, but it has been decided to celebrate this festival today as per the religious scriptures. It is religiously believed that feeding rice pudding to crows on this day will carry a good message to Yamaraj. Ballot papers for the proportional representation electoral system under the upcoming parliamentary elections have been transported to 60 districts so far, the Election Commission of Nepal said. The House of Representatives and Provincial Assembly elections are slated for November 20 this year. The Commission said that ballot papers would be transported to additional 6 districts before the Tihar festival holiday. Ballot papers will be ferried in the remaining districts, including Manang, Mustang, Acham, Bazura, Kalikot, Mugu, Humla, and Dolpa, after Tihar only. Meanwhile, Commission spokesperson Shaligram Sharma Paudel shared that a total of 15,124,000 ballot papers were printed so far for the first past the post electoral system. A person died and 3 others were injured in a road mishap at Bagmati Rural Municipality 5 in Makwanpur district. The deceased has been identified as 58-year-old Ram Bahadur Goli of Bagmati Rural Municipality 8. The accident took place when an auto rickshaw heading towards Faparbari from Jhurjhure of Bagmati Rural Municipality 5 and a truck coming from opposite direction collided with each other. According to the district police office, the injured are receiving treatment at Chure Hill Hospital. Newly appointed U.S. Ambassador to Nepal, Dean Richard Thompson, has paid a courtesy call to Prime Minister Sherbadu Deuba. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs stated that during the meeting they exchanged views on further deepening bilateral relations between the two countries. During the meeting, Ambassador Thompson assures U.S. efforts for collaboration on various dimensions of Nepal-U.S. relations. With growing access to technology, digital payment is on rise in Nepal of late. The digital transaction, which gained much pace during COVID pandemic, has continued to rise till date. The latest record shared by Nepal Rashtra Bank has showed that in the second month of the current fiscal year alone, transaction of more than 4,900 billion rupees was made via electronic medium. The transaction of 292 billion rupees was made via Connect IPS. The transaction of 232 billion rupees was done in the same period last year. The Nepal Army organized different programs focusing on solidarity in international peace and stability yesterday on the Establishment Day of the United Nations. Nepal Army, with participation of all the security forces, organized march past, Zumba, rally, band performance at the ground of the Nepal Army headquarters. According to the Nepal Army Directorate of Public Relations and Information, Chief of Army Staff Prabhu Ram Sharma presented prize to the winners of different sports competition on the occasion. You are listening to Radio Nepal 8 AM English News Bulletin. We continue with the international updates now. China's Communist Party endorsed Xi Jinping's core position in the country's leadership, all but assuring he will be handed an unprecedented third term in power. At the end of the week-long gathering in Beijing, China's ruling party approved a sweeping reshuffle that saw a number of top officials step down, allowing Xi to appoint new allies. The largely rubber-stamp meeting of among 2,300 party delegates was meticulously choreographed, with Xi determined to avoid any surprises as he enshrined his leadership for the next 5 years. Xi is now all but certain to be unveiled as General Secretary on Sunday, shortly after the first meeting of the new Central Committee. Rishi Sunak is expected to confirm his candidacy to be the next leader of the party and Prime Minister soon, according to campaign sources. The ex-Chancellor is the first candidate to secure the 100 nominations to get to the first round of voting in the contest to replace Liz Truss. Boris Johnson has flown back from holiday amid speculation he will run. Commons leader Penny Mordaunt is so far the only contender to have officially launched a leadership campaign. Airstrikes are said to have hit critical infrastructure in central and western Ukraine as Russia continues to target the country's energy grid. The BBC says sites to the south and west of Kiev have been struck and power cuts have been reported across the country. Ukrainian officials say many Russian cruise missiles have been intercepted by air defense systems. Almost a third of the country's power stations are reported to have been destroyed in a wave of airstrikes since Monday last week. Now the general weather forecast for the country for today. Forecasting division says the weather is likely to be partly cloudy in the hilly regions of the country and mainly fair in the rest of the country. Kathmandu's weather report now. Maximum temperature of 25.7 degrees Celsius and minimum temperature of 12.5 degrees Celsius. With this news, we have come to the end of this bulletin. But before we wrap up the headlines, once again, Prime Minister Sherbaadu Deuba claims there is no dispute in the current ruling coalition. Ballot papers for proportional representation electoral system transported to 60 districts so far. Digital payment is on rise in Nepal with growing access to technology. And China's Communist Party endorses Xi Jinping's core position in the country's leadership. Well, that's all that we have for this edition. Our next English news edition is at 2 in the afternoon. You can also listen to us online at our website www.radionepal.gov.np for more news and online programs. Stay tuned, stay safe and have a good day.